Praise the Lord. For most of this video, I ain't even in the bathtub. This video is to Nancy Pelosi, and it does include information she should know about the ass bleaching store. The employees there are really good. I never got my ass bleached, but they're good to homeless people. This video is about all the sectors in the economy, in my experience with a bunch of them, and how they can all have a seat at the table in eradicating homelessness. It's going to start out with an intro to my friend in West Virginia that survived the storms. She did have some damage to her home and her belongings, so we should pray for her. Take a look at this video. It's a long one. I'm hoping it's going to export, and when it does, it'll be on that YouTube forever. So let's take a look and enjoy. And really, this is a great video to thumbs up on and comment on and be participatory. Send it to a friend. This is a video that really Nancy Pelosi ought to watch. Hi, I'm so glad that the storm didn't bother your place too much. Really, I am so glad. I don't know, you need water, like can it? I am really just having a real good outlook. Like, right here is the grocery store, but I'm going to the food bank. But I got my scooter. It's a nice day. It was cool. You can get cooler. But I'm just feeling good. Going to the food bank. And then King's Kroger here. Their charity, sometimes it's pets. And sometimes it's the food bank for the Rockies. And I'm like, maybe just lower the damn prices and hire people so they don't go homeless. We wouldn't need food bank. But you know what I mean? It's just like... But I'm gonna do my scooters and get the food bank, and then I went to the library the other day. I'm still getting that laptop. They had called me for it, but my phone number changed, and I didn't get it, so I missed it. But they said those should be for 3 months, not too long. And I'm excited. I'm just got a lot of projects. Did another YouTube video, got some more coming up. So I'm glad you got power and water. Power and electricity and clean water. All right. Have you noticed that, like, what can Joe Manchin do as appropriate response? Now, like, he can't take his Maserati down there. It's an SUV, but, like, people don't want to see that. He can get another Jeep, another vehicle. That's kind of silly. And then he's got that yacht. Tom Acosta belongs on it. If we got Tom Acosta on that yacht, he'd be resolved. That boy ain't on it. We could do whatever we want with that yacht. It could be on the Tugfort River, or it could be going to Italy. Make, you know, just, it could be, you know, it'd be the best thing. Alright, I'm gonna go to food bank and I'll talk to you soon. You know, praise the Lord, it just ends up this way. I do my day in life videos. I'm here at Cherry Creek Mall. I'm on my way to the food bank. Here we got the big old Class A commercial real estate. You know how big it is? And we are really close to one of the only places I know for sure you can get power 24/7, 365 in this country. Praise the Lord, anywhere. And you get, if you're homeless in America's tech capital, which is Denver, there ain't a lot of places you can get power. I have actually been homeless and walked in the snow a long time, having the money on my, you know, my cash app for an Uber, but having, sometimes it's been where, like, I didn't have a battery, so I had to walk in the snow at night. But I won't say exactly where, because I don't want to blow the cover. If you're homeless, you want to know, ask me, I'll tell you. It's right, it's very visible to the Apple Store. And I think that the other institution, a major one, huge, I think they have some sort of agreement. The Apple Store is very, if you're nice and you're homeless and you're nice, they have a very, like, they know that, like, you need the phone before you can get anything else done. And if you're coming in there, Apple Store's been always rolled great to me. All of them. Like, not just particular people. One store, it's been San Francisco. And then we have 3 Apple Stores here in Denver. But I was thinking on that topic of what I was saying. Probably call the video, something like that. Kroger. And they, think about, like, the high cost of what technically was the reason that I became homeless. What led to me losing my apartment was I was working at a pizza restaurant, and I was very needing temporarily I was needing more hours. There was a possibility that one might have been growth at the pizza restaurant. It did end up closing while I was homeless, but at the time, they were thinking about growing or expanding the opportunity I had there, but I needed more hours short term, so I was applying for work near the pizza restaurant. And King Soopers or Kroger was in low downtown, was where I ended up working, but it took 11 weeks for them to hire me. They wanted to. It was just, I would say the boomers there, but like, it was vacations. It was like people had weddings and funerals. People just had a lot going on in general. Whether they were boomers or not, they can't help it, they're boomers. It's just, it turned out to be, like, they were aware I applied. I was in there all the time. Like, I was so desperate to, like, work more jobs and have money so I could pay the bills. And just think about, like, the outcome here. It's like, the outcome is, I had to cross the station over 725 days from Atlanta to San Francisco, and Supers and Kroger and me is going to deal with it. Like, they're going to have a role with me in the future. A better one. I think they can be a part of eradicating homelessness. Like, they're giving money, like, you round up at your self-checkout, which Kroger invented self-checkouts. You, basically Cincinnati, I think. You round up, they ask you if you want to donate, you round up your purchase. Some of that money goes to, like, sometimes it changes, but, like, most recently it was going to the Colorado Food Bank of the Rockies or whatever. I'm just like, y'all, it's a grocery store. And, like, look what I'm doing. I defeated homelessness, but think of the high cost. I have this housing voucher. A 2-bedroom apartment for marble countertops. Probably there's people out there, and I'm just speaking to people I don't know, and I bet you're like, you don't like Nathan, but I bet you agree with this point. Probably, because I can like Donald Trump, and don't like him. Sometimes I can. So in that mindset, probably there's people out there. Give me a thumbs up if you agree with this on the video. There's people, that little thumbs up mark. There's probably people out there who are great. Probably what would have been best is if Nathan could have worked that grocery store stocking cans at night job and started it before he ever became, you know, having to wait 11 weeks. And I was trying in other places too. I was doing everything I could. I had people come live with me that didn't have a home. I was working with the Colorado Rural Assistance Program. I was doing things. Totally. When you become homeless, you were already spent. You were already out of food. You're already exhausted from fighting homelessness before you become homeless. But probably there's people out there who would have agreed. It probably would have been better if Kroger, I mean, it was a stocking cans at night. That was the job. I wasn't going in to be a butcher or like learn something complicated. I was stocking cans, right? But it took them 11 weeks before I could start my computer training, which was self-guided. I got pictures of me doing the training, and it's just me right there. But it probably would have been better, like, if I had started the job stocking cans. I would still have a pizza shop restaurant. If the pizza shop restaurant it did close like a year later, but like I would have had that ability to where probably would not have gone homeless. I mean, I still had that 60% likelihood, and there's still likely a chance that something else could have happened. Like, I could have had a work injury at Kroger, you know. But this one was specifically like that could have been a reason. I'm worried my brother, Drew, could go homeless because he is loading and unloading trucks for Amazon. I don't think that that's the best thing for him. I don't think he's happy, and I think that he could be doing something else. His bad attitude needs to get resolved. But I'm saying, I think there's people out there that would agree if Kroger had allowed me to start work, which was really just like, it wasn't anything essential. It was just like people were going on vacations, and they had, you know, weddings and funerals and things that came up to where the people that was in charge, like, they just could never, it took 11 weeks. That was a bad thing. And like, when you were applying for a job like stocking cans overnight, people like that are desperate to work are the people that end up going homeless. Kroger needs to take a look at that, like 7-Eleven over down that way. And Josh Davis, that store had 3 homeless people working at it. It was me and 2 other people. One guy was living in a camper, and there was a mom, single mama too. She was living in a hotel, and I was just kind of bouncing around, you know, based on what we could do. But like that store, after I went to California, that store closed and became owned by a different group of people. Unfairly Arabs. There are some very nice Arab 7-Elevens. I want to be very nice to the people that are nice. The ones over there just aren't very nice. But Baker's District has a whole situation where there's just not a lot of friendly service in general. This happened with hospitals. And the Starbucks suicide video, which happened It's going to come up right around this time, but it happened back on July 25th. I just made it public. Specific to the Kroger and the high cost thing. Because it took so long for me to start, it was that cash flow issue, and I did become homeless. I did reach out to the HR manager over there. She actually is from Burlington, North Carolina, or Alamance County. She knows the Sheets I used to work at. If you know Altoona, Pennsylvania, the Sheets Corporation, like Wawa's, where they've got Sheets on the East Coast. We don't have anything like that here in Denver because we're such an isolated big city. And we have the smaller gas stations. But I love Wawa's. I know the East Coast. Hey, Kroger, the world's largest grocer, had a policy procedure. Okay, this person is working for, wants to apply for third shift. They're in here all the time, and we are like the premier fancy, grocery store in lower downtown. Maybe we need to hire him. Maybe this person, Kroger has instead this reactive policy with their, security. Where are you at? Can you comment on this video? It would help lift this argument. People who don't really like my videos, I bet you agree with this point. Had Nathan kept working at that grocery store, or started earlier, probably is likely that I could have had a work injury and then I still would have slipped into homelessness. But I never had the ability to start working, and that is what caused me to end up now walking away from getting a scooter right at that grocery store and going to the food bank, which it's not the Colorado Rockies food bank I'm going to, but it's just, you see this kind of like cycle of Kroger. Probably could have a better, if you made it your mission, your value, your core value, we want lower prices, we want friendlier people, we want fewer self-checkouts, because who wants more self-checkouts? Nobody, right? And, I miss, being in high school and going to Bilo on the East Coast in the South. My cousin Mark worked there. Also, DJ did. DJ was gay, and he was in high school. And I remember one time, self-checkouts were going out, and this person, he was checking out me and my stepdad, Steve, and this person just kind of stole stuff, and DJ was like, "It's a self-checkout. What do you think?" It's just like, well, and my stepdad was just like, "I'll bet." So it's just like, I don't think I think the self-checkouts and the police state security force that we have with the vests and the we had that King Sober's Boulder shooting. I don't know anything about a specific what those people were going under, and I feel bad about that. I remember when it happened. I remember talking to my friend Amber, my cousin Amber, who's in that Pamela Anderson video, caring about that road. But as for when homeless, but I'm just saying, I think Kroger absolutely could learn from Apple Store, Target, YouTube, Walgreens, also YouTube. I'm telling corporate America, who are the heroes? Our diners like IHOP and places like that. Denny's, really good. Starbucks. You guys need to sell more coffee and stop being nice and dealing with us as much as you are. But Starbucks and Apple Store, West Coasters, Wells Fargo. I haven't had a complete interaction with the bank, and it is a bank. It's not Wells Fargo that has the power outlet out here. So banks, I have noticed, have a weird, we're homeless, so we're not going to be opening accounts and getting loans and stuff. But banks, I have noticed, particularly maybe more banks, Western-oriented corporations have had a better feel about this than maybe some of our traditional, more Midwest and farther east companies. It's just something I've observed. But main point is, probably everybody would agree, it would be best if Nathan was maybe still working at Peace Restaurant. Probably that would have turned into a management opportunity. I got more to say about the Pizza Restaurant. I'll do another video on that. But I don't like the people. I got a lot to say about pizza in general. Pizza makes people happy, brings people together. Taco Bell's doing a real good job, because you can eat on Taco Bell. You can get a whole meal for $3 now. I've got a lot to say on things like that. Chick-fil-A would be one that is, I think that with their policy toward, I think that they're doing pretty good. I do disagree with their, just like we agree with Donald Trump kind of thing. I'm gay. But they do seem to be better than other places. Chipotle, you guys are Denver and West, and you guys got some improvement to do. It was just really unfortunate, Chipotle. and we're right here where they're headquartered. It used to be. They moved west, but Chipotle would be. I'm not saying like there's not like. They're saying in my experience, the diners and the Apple Store and the Starbucks is really good. But most people probably agree. Kroger should have hired me to start. There was no problems with me working at Kroger. I just had to quit because I had to sign it then. I have to go to North Carolina and relocate to be with my friend Chris. I never heard from him at the Chattanooga station. But back on the end of it, like the cost of Kroger not doing that came at a huge to me, you know, life experience and having to spend my 30s fighting homelessness. But also, maybe it's God's plan because found out we need to resolve Tom Acosta sleeping that kid for sleeping with that 7-year-old boy. But, so we never came back to West Virginia. I've kind of been homeless. No way. But I want to say that, like, Kroger failed to hire me when they were always going to want to. They wanted to. That was just like, I think we can't even blame the people. It was like the machine of Kroger was not consistent with what was the best thing to do. Was they needed to hire me. They had a job that desperately needed my involvement. Like I ended up, they picked the very best person. That's who they picked, was me. Like, you know what? They didn't hire anyone else to, like, it was just, it took so long. That's what I'm trying to say. Kroger, I think you should be, you know, really taking a look at this. And, I think acquisition of King Soopers, people here in Denver do not like it. You know, like, learn from the people that you acquire, because Denver liked King Soopers when it was King Soopers and not subsidiary of Kroger. I'm gonna go, but I think I made a point. And people would probably be like, "We're gonna go to the food bank. They're gonna give me bus tickets. I want these free scooters." But like, for your conservative-minded people like that, you know, yeah, I understand it. I agree. I came to Denver because I got promoted 366 days. It was COVID. That one was like, we didn't know it was COVID, and we did the best we could at Dish. Best we could. But I'm saying, there's something to be made with some improvement with things like Kroger. More day night video. These like places here, 24-hour fitness. I'm still on the way to food bank. I didn't really deal with them very much, but a little bit of exposure I did. It just comes into handy with like they're not homeless passion, but having your self-respect, and you know, like when you need to go in and shower, and just feel like a regular person and blend in. These places were really good. A lot of them have like dollar sign-ups and stuff like that. I think that they have probably more of the burden of dealing with it, like when Kroger doesn't. And another group that I want to talk more about when I get scooter time to me would be hospitals. We'll talk more about them here in a minute. They would be on the other end. Kroger, for-profit company that has corporate social responsibility and isn't legislated to do what's best. But, like, maybe it needs to be. And I feel like I'm talking to Nancy Pelosi already. I need to talk to her. I do. I was in her district. And she survived my dad. He went to January 6th. We'll talk about hospitals in a minute. Before we talk about hospitals, let's talk about PetSmart. I don't have a pet. But my one experience with PetSmart was really good in San Francisco. I'll talk more about that when I get on to where I am. So we talk about hospitals, we talk about PetSmart. And I know there's homeless people. Some of these homeless people, their families died and all they got is that little dog or whatever. So I didn't have a favorable opinion of homeless people with dogs until I just dealt with it so much. So I was like, I get it. Kind of get it more. I still feel like if you're homeless, you probably shouldn't have a pet. But by experience, we'll talk more about PetSmart gets a good mark for me. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Oh, I'm excited. I think I have probably made an idea for Thanksgiving. I'm not telling you what it is, but I think I've got an idea. That's a dangerous thing. Let's talk about hospitals because I'm excited about the holidays. Regarding hospitals, that segment. I'm trying to jump back in the video. I just went to the food bank. And something else happened. So, okay. Hospitals are like a mixed bag, but mostly they're ill-equipped, and it's not their fault. It's not the people. it's just they're ill-equipped. I would say when I was first homeless, I went to Charlotte, North Carolina. It's the Carolina Medical Place. That hospital turned out to be good. I went there for suicide because it just got banned from my university because my dad was January 6th. That's why they stopped the intervention. And also had to ride out a hurricane. And I was like, I didn't even know I was going to be in Charlotte at all. My brother lived there, still lives there, and was like, you can't use your medication, sit here. So it was just like, alright, well, I'm going to go to the hospital. That hospital system, they just ended up being where they weren't just going to discharge me immediately to the homeless shelter in Charlotte. Like, I had no idea I would be surviving in Charlotte. Just trying to get a high point. It's a different part of North Carolina. I knew somebody in it. I wasn't supposed to be homeless. Right? The hospital in Charlotte had a way with, well, if you got an eviction court hearing, that's a reason we get you a Greyhound ticket. So that's why I ended up back in Colorado. So that one was just like, overall, I was just a regular patient. But I've visited the hospital a lot, the homeless. Like, that's the thing about, like, so you go King Soopers, your Kroger. You got your able-bodied man, which is me, being able to work, wanting to work, and like couldn't work enough, fast stuff, because people's going on vacation and stuff. Right? Then you become homeless, and it's like, so you end up in a hospital. And it's like, when I was homeless, it was like, all the time. I would be getting my blood pressure taken and stuff. I was just like, you know, it feels like you're like in the Indianapolis 500 or NASCAR, and you're just like, we really need like a full body tune-up. Nathan needs to be home for a month and like never leave. Now I have that. But like that was what was going on last year before. Someone told me if you just come here, you eat straight, sleep, get your strength back, and you just buy yourself an airplane ticket and I'll pick you up. No, okay? People really thought that I could just buy myself an airplane ticket. They did. The hospital though, most of my experience at the hospital was, this is how they're eloquent. You might be in there for behavioral health, or last time I was in the hospital, I went in there, side behavioral health. I was denied entry somewhere where they were just not wanting to deal with anything else they had going on, but they had made a commitment to me. I would just say that I went to the hospital, and the hospital, it's a boomer on the screen because they bring them in. They also brought in a millennial at the Jewish hospital to assist me, and she had a big old nose ring. And before I went homeless, I had a big deal with people with nose rings, and I still do. If you are like the person on the screen assessing me, and you got like one of these big old giant ones, I have an offense with that versus like if you're, you know, gonna fit me for a pair of pants in the mall. It's just a thing I have. It's the old millennium thing. The hospitals though are ill-equipped with, they don't have the resources or know what to do with it. A good example I have would be the Aurora Medical Center. So that's both times. It was when I had the Great Granny Alice experience after the. So when I got discharged from the hospital right away for suicide at Denver Health, instead of Starbucks, you watch that video. It's up. Their solution was to hit a Starbucks. That was bad. That was a failure on their part. Not for sure. The behavioral health that Denver Health sends you to, their air conditioning wasn't working one time. And also went there right before I went to see Dad. I don't like that behavioral health place. That's probably just a me thing. But overall, like the Aurora Medical Center, they wanted to help, but they didn't have anything they could do to place me. I got an Uber, and they took me to the Denver Rescue Mission Administration Building, and I was like, I don't have any business there. And they're like, oh, you just figured out when you get there. I was like, sure enough, got to the reception area, and they're like, you don't have any business here. You need to get on. So then I was on a bike and scooter for 6 hours, like on the weird side of town, trying to find where to survive immediately. Right? So immediately discharged for suicide, and that's what you're doing. That would have been a clear case of like the hospital didn't have a good solution there. And it was like out the last time I went. Overall, I think Denver has a like needing to get things done better. In San Francisco, in the hospital twice. What they did was they took care of me, and both times I didn't need to be there very long. They were also at the second time, they were just like, we know that your dad doing what he's doing, that kid, he's a stress on you. We are doctors in a hospital in California. There ain't nothing we know it's gonna be a burden to you and affect your health, but all we can do is help you sleep. Because I went there, I literally left the homeless shelter where it's loud, and I was getting my phone charger stolen and just this and that kind of stuff. I went to the hospital there, right there, like it's attached to the same building, and they're like, what you need is a good night's rest. And they gave it to me. I was good that the homeless shelter was right there, so they were kind of like, there are things there. The hospital system is having to catch what King Soopers and Kroger. Nathan's right. Had King Soopers and Kroger, even when I was at 7-Eleven, homeless and was signing up for like disability and long-term insurance, I was just like, how weird it is. I don't have a home, but if I get injured here, running cash register. And I had to, like, when I was at 7-Eleven, I got like the maximum. I did it up. I did. Because I was like, it was such an emotional thing with me. I was like, I really don't have a home or a family that loves me or itself. But here I am doing like, paying like $39 a paycheck for my, the best you can do is 7-Eleven insurance. I ended up having to leave that job right after that. Insurance right away. Hospitals in general, we all got like our favorite ones in the city we go to, stuff like that. But they are, the other time I was in Aurora, they were like, well, behavioral health thing, as I went inside and I didn't want to go anywhere else. I was exhausted. I had already, this was the plan C, the dead phone, I took the wrong train. It was like a whole mixture of things when I was on entry, and I was like, all right there, and like, who I am, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't have anywhere else to go. I was living in a high situation, so they were. I won't talk about it, but I might later. The hospital system was like, well, you're just kind of taking up space here. So like the hospital system, and it's the boomers. They have like this what are you doing here? You don't have a broken leg? Well, I'm not dead yet. But they also just don't have anywhere. And I get that there are people that are coming in with like broke legs, or it's just like, we are in trauma in all these places. But the hospital system, the one at Aurora, they wanted to take me to, they kept urging me to go to a day center. I was like, well, it's like 11:30 now. It's a day center. I ain't never been to it, and I've stayed at over 300 different places in 2022 and 23. What's going to happen when they close? And they were just like, well, you deal with it again. You deal with it at 5. And I'm like, I don't want to be dealing with an emergency out of the hospital. I believe in it. And then there was another time I was at Aurora Medical Center. Remember that time period? They continually are just like dropping like it's hot. Hospital system is having to catch these occurrences of people going, and then they ask you the questions, right? Questionnaires. Have you ever stayed somewhere and had to trade sex for a place to stay? Like all those questions. Like when I do one of them forms, it's always all about answers. It is. Because it's just that way. But you should not put the personal responsibility on the other gay men who have this yin and yang type, way of it. And it is on their end. I think there's several examples where it is, if you stay here, I want something in return. Did you understand that? And we already had that kind of relationship, so it's like there are places where those questions fall. I don't think they really You shouldn't be having people have personal responsibility and feeling like it's Ronald Reagan's still in charge when you're still living under the Ronald Reagan doctrine of like we paid $4,000 twice, I think. Okay, y'all. For me to stay at that minority-owned business motel, but I was looking for work way over here. Like, it's a 2-hour drive, bus ride. It doesn't make sense. That part needs to get reformed. There's a lot of things me and Nancy Pelosi could talk about on a train ride from San Francisco to Atlanta. And praise the Lord, that's my YouTube channel. Make these videos all the time, do whatever I want on them. And I want to say, like, you know, I took a scooter, government subsidized, free for 30 minutes, people food stamps, or Medicaid in Colorado. If you are one of them people, maybe I'll try to put the link in for the micro mobility program. You might not like it, but someone might really need it. And I've had to use those a lot in the snow. I'm actually looking forward to getting a vehicle. Yeah, and holiday plans, and Nate's gonna go back to work and do all that. But look at all this. It's heavy. This bag is heavy too. And I want to say right now, like, still on top of hospitals and stuff. So I have HIV. So like my HIV doctor and that team, really, really good. Like the emergency rooms. That's what I'm referring to. The team over there that I got Dusty permanent care with, they are just like, we ain't gonna stop loving you. I mean, they don't say that. They're hippity all doctored up, you know, but they have like, hey, your emergency room people. Those are the people that are just like, we're dealing with homeless people, and I know that they're dealing with people that are, you know, there's all kinds of homeless. Like when I was at the homeless shelter in San Francisco, there was the boomers fighting. So like, I had to leave, and that's how we ended up with the Drug Extremes and the Deadliest Sins video. Maybe I'll link it to this video because it's a different topic, but it is related to like, how do people become homeless? Are they fighting it? And when they are homeless, are they fighting each other? Like, where do you draw that line? And it just ends up with, then you have the personal responsibility. But like the people filling out the forms and feeling like they're dirtbags because they don't know what else to do because, you know, the Kroger and the big Mobile corporations are people too. The, you know, Mitch McConnells of the world out there. Mitch McConnell, you ought to be on my side. I don't like Joe Manchin. He's going to deal with, like, being a part of these future videos. And this one, because he can deal with it. I think you'd understand exactly why. You know, the history between me and Joe Manchin. He's a U.S. Senator from West Virginia. And he's just got to deal with, and deal with me. Like, he just does. He does because his career's almost over. But he's still in power, and we've got to make sure Joe Manchin is held accountable for whatever he can be, but certainly for taking my Uncle Mike's portrait, not caring about Uncle Mike at all, it seems like, not one bit, and going back to hospitals and that thing. It's your emergency rooms, and it's like the experience where it's already on video, where I was at the emergency room, leaving 7-Eleven to go there with yellowing fingernails and toenails, and my friends were like, you might be having diabetes right now. It's not hepatitis C. We got that all cleared up. The hospital system in San Francisco, they were like, good news, it's getting all better. I think it's all, yeah, it's pretty much, I'm pretty sure my toenails had to grow out for that. But it's like, I think right now, it's all 100% cared on that. They didn't diagnose what that was. But, you know, the doctor there, the emergency room, when it was snowing, and I got off work and went to there, and he's like, oh, you're homeless, you're dirty. So, like, is that bias? Now, the hospital, that's the same hospital, Denver Health, that also discharged me for suicide to go to Starbucks to deal with it. Technically, the ER doctor sent the security guys to take me to the bus stop to get on the bus. And then when I was like, I'm not getting on the bus, they're like, well, Starbucks is the answer. We shouldn't be making our security guys at the hospital. I think Nancy Pelosi's like, Nathan's right. Joe Manchin, you should say Nathan's right on that. We shouldn't have our security guys that are 25 years old and like big old, you know, should be NFL players. They should not be making the decision to deal with your suicide at Starbucks. That ain't right for Mandy over there at Starbucks. She don't want to. She's supposed to be selling coffee. So Starbucks, we need to legislate these hospitals to get their act together. I will say that there could be things better, and I will say, kind of circling back around, two things I want to say at the end for this video. One is being homeless, or being on the other end of it now. It's just like you still always remember. It's like, I won't say because there are homeless veterans, and that's a whole different. You were in combat, and then you came in and have to do this life. Let people know, but you have that. You've already been through it, and there are similarities of you went through something no one else can imagine, but then it sticks with you. So I will say that respectfully. And with our veterans, that's a whole other. There's no way to compare. I mean, if you're a veteran, you're basically, aren't you kind of like homeless in another country in a way? If you got John McCain, good example. Donald Trump. Sorry, my mind is blurry. I've got to catch this other bus and go down there. But with the hospital systems should be having conversations with Nancy Pelosi, and Nancy Pelosi should be asking Kroger some questions. In Target, your big stores like that, Walgreens, I'll put on the better situation there. The situation with Walgreens was, well, I tried to go to work there a lot, and there was times West Virginia and in Denver, and almost to California. I almost tried to work at Walgreens and all three. Walgreens' issue is basically, they do have the big scary security guys. Sometimes they need them though. And the Walgreens in California, they had, San Francisco, when COVID came out, they were just taking shit for the Walgreens. Now, the San Francisco Walgreens, they have, like, if you want your lasagna, you gotta push, like, it's like at Home Depot, where you gotta push and wait for somebody. Like, they got that system now for your lasagnas. But Walgreens' problem was just, like, we got a new manager every day. Target had a situation where we would just have a whole video on Target. Basically what happened there, Target didn't believe in me, but several other stores did, going back to PetSmart. What happened there was, I remember PetSmart, yay, trying to get this video done and make it the best. I'm glad I remember PetSmart. What happened there at Target in San Francisco? I had a dead phone, was in a really, I went out for an adventure and the phone died unexpectedly. Things happened, but I went for mental clarity. I walk, and then it was just like, well, I have to survive. Target did not allow me to, no cooperation with me, and they banned me from that store. And then I told them I worked for Target in 2006, and they're like, well, that was 20 years ago. And there was, Target, you need to get your act together. You need to have kindness. Can you help you find something? Yeah, some laws from Nancy Pelosi. Or whatever, Senator Warren, I'm sure, would be happy to help legislate Target into being nice. They would. Maybe Ted Cruz. Ted, maybe we can find some opportunities. You big old conservative senator with your bad outfits, but you know what? You were caring about your kids and that snow, and you were leaving that dog at home. And CNBC and MSNBC got obsessed about the snowflake, but I've had time to think about that. The situation with governor in West Virginia, and it's like Ted Cruz, I need you on my side because you caring about your family. And you can't do nothing about that power grid and snow situation, but United Airlines was like, well, we got this. Okay, I gotta get on the bus. Do you like watching these day in the life videos where I have any idea what's gonna happen next? I like them, but this little situation here, that bus driver I think should have stopped. He just passed me a lot. Now I was on the phone doing my video, but he doesn't know. I don't care, but he needs to be resolved. That's just my way of, I can't report him. But I mean, I would rather just it be an experience. And you see, I got the food bank food, but you know who else got, free food from the government? My relatives, the boomers that sold Granny's house for cold hard cash, have been getting food from the government. The same kind, all the time. I tell you this, I need to hurry and go get my box. I'm on a scooter with my box. Added my backpack. I can't wait for the next bus. Alright, let me do this and we'll do the last segment when I get there. Alright. I made it back. Home sweet home. On that scooter. Had this on the place where you step. You have just on the back step thing of it. And got home. I'm just trying to do this video as fast as I can. Like 1 minute to next. So it's more like exactly how it was. And you know, with that bus driver there, I will say that I was on the phone. I think he could have been doing better. He was running late. He was just like, I'm gonna pass this guy. He still shouldn't have done that, but I will say, like, I do try to evaluate, you know, how people make decisions. There was one time, a couple times, most of the time, your bus drivers, your transit workers, Nancy Pelosi, are really good, and they don't deserve to have the, like, you know, cardinal authority of, like, we're going to save your life kind of thing, like, happened a couple of times. And there's some that are just, like, deliberately, I'm going to be this way because I can, you know. But overall, I would say your bus and transit people are pretty good, especially Greyhound. Greyhound, we just need to get you upgraded all the time because you're dealing with so much people in stressful situations, more than Amtrak is. And definitely more than airport is. Because I did all three, not homeless. I would say that the Greyhound workers, like your people, like, you know, you're going to take a cigarette break, you're going to have a little break here at St. Louis. You crossing the Mississippi, honey, like, you know exactly where you're going because you're already homeless. Like, they definitely are like, come on, come on, come on. I remember that St. Louis bus driver, so good. He was like, let's go to Colorado. And it was just like, oh, it was great. It was great having, he was the one that drove me from St. Louis to Colorado, I think. I guess how it went. Anyway, versus your, like, FedEx and UPS and, you know, those type of people. How did I interact with them? Well, a couple people that helped me survive work there. But that, I would say, like, the disconnect there, what do? They deliver to homes and businesses. Their role is not to eradicate homelessness or whatever. But they do have a very distinct, different, you know, they are kind of like transit. They do drive for a living. Completely different mindset when it comes to homeless people. I would say truck drivers, my experience with them, this is more personal, but it could have been better. I'm sure there's truck drivers all over the world that have, they are at risk for homelessness. A lot of factors there. Could be better. I think like every sector of the economy and everything like that needs to take a look. And with my experience, definitely it's the role of education. With what my dad's doing, K-12 education, and in the university sector. When I was at Elon University, it was a private university, cost me $166,000 to go there. They were just, we going to get rid of you. And that is something that, like, Duke University, all the higher institutions of higher learning in North Carolina are pretty much connected to me. So this is going to be a big deal. Pretty much. Now, I'll say if you are an institution of higher learning in North Carolina, why don't you be one of the first to reach out to me and be like, we know about you and we care. Because you're going to have to. I'll say the people in my family that sold Granny's house for cold hard cash. I'm going to do another video on what I got at the food bank. Probably going to do that with Clean Up Sturdy Kitchens. Ran out, because us West Virginians, we like to run out and come back. I'm still West Virginia, I'm Colorado, I'm an American. I'm country star, but I would say the people like up at Granny's on Rock Ridge. Granny was instrumental in getting the guardrails put up. So she got the government that way. She's a hero. But they, like, there was a time Veronica Hagerman Foley, one of the boomers that sold Granny's house outside the family for cold hard cash, as I'm living through 3 worst nightmares at the same time. And I have done, Bonnie Foley's the only one, and I give her more of the blame. There was another video in the bathtub explaining that. 15 years ago, my granny was alive, or maybe 20 years ago, and her twin sister, Mary, was just, the story is coming from Veronica. Veronica did take care of my granny when she had cancer, but she did sell the house. And she was telling me this story before that happened about how Mary Foley would go to my grandmother's house, which was their father's house, the one that lived in France, and she would take cans of food off the shelf in the cellar that had, like, green beans in it, And she would dump them out and put her can of green beans. She wanted the jar. And Veronica was like, that's food people could eat. And that was back in like 2003, okay? Then she does nothing. You know, but like, when I go homeless and my dad's sleeping with my boy. And I'm in a sick kidnapping. Nothing. You know? But Granny put the guardrails. She was campaigning for the government. Like, they don't have any excuse. And, you know, like, I have going to do my food video. I got at the food bank. I'm getting, like, food I ain't never had before. They are on food stamps, and they're going to Walmart in another state. And because West Virginia doesn't have Walmart. It's close to point is they got to go across the state line. And food there, spend their federal dollars on, you know, but they're just, they sold Granny's house for cold hard cash. And I'm going to be doing another video on, like, looking at, especially my father's side, of how they were at a disproportionate advantage. A lot of times, anyways, I'll go into another video one, but like these people in my family never extended or applied themselves, and they are, when you look at welfare food stamp recipients or people that are on benefit, there are people like me, okay? And then there's people like Veronica, that's 300 pounds, and is just not really even trying. I told you I want to get a vehicle. We also have something called Colorado Car Share. I've got a lot of things in my mind. Like I said, holiday plans. Not with them. But it is with family. And I'm just carrying a lot. And trying to make these videos for all time. And we'll go into PetSmart. And therefore I'm a PetSmart. Okay, so PetSmart's deal was, here's what happened. I was at Target trying to get, I was like, well, the phone, I need a phone charger. And it might have been also when the phone was charged, and then I left the phone, you know, I had a plan, and then the plan derailed, and it ended up where I was at Target, and I was like, look, I'm pretty sure I will buy a phone charger, but I just need to charge the phone a little bit so I can make some calls and get, like, you know, like a jump start, right? Also, like, a lot of Targets, you know, like when I was kidnapped in Ohio, I was at Walmart using that iPad to try to contact anybody that could help me, like, for hours. At Walmart in Ohio was, like, I guess, they were just like, listen, if you need help. Target was like, get out of here. We don't care. I was in the, like, the ritzy side. I was like where they had the, what's that company? Elon Musk has the cars. What are they called? They had the charging stations for them up there. It's like the roof of the Target. So I was in like the, anyway, but the thing is, pizza shop, local pizza shop owner right there, let me charge the phone. There was also, the shopping mall right next to the Target I went to, and I went to there, and I was like, the first place I went to was the ass bleaching store. Okay, this was the ass bleaching store, and I went in there like, I'm just needing information about how I would go about charging the phone. And the ass bleaching store employees were way better than Target. They were like, I was like, ladies, I don't mean to bother you. I don't need my ass bleached, but I just need, how would you solve this problem? I'm like, you know, I just don't have a charger. And I didn't even tell them I was homeless. I didn't think I looked homeless. And they were just like, well, we see the problem. We understand. And we think that you can get that resolved at Chipotle. They were like, people coming in here, like, they were like, yeah, try Chipotle. Like, it's what the other lady told me. So I went to Chipotle, already back ahead of my Chipotle nightmares here in Denver. It's back there on YouTube. But Chipotle's problem is, your problem is, you got the 16-year-olds, you're too dependent on the 16-year-olds to do everything. Back when we had, like, Bob's Burgers, and I do have a friend that loves that show, but back when we had, like, teenagers working at, like, you know, your hamburger joint, we didn't have, you know, as many homeless people, and we weren't so dependent on technology, and like Kroger, you depended on your self-checkout, so as homeless people needed the phones, we need to charge them. So it's just like a correlated ecosystem of, like, energy machines, but we took out, like, you know, Bob from Bob's Burgers, who can, you know, direct the teenagers and make decisions on what to do with somebody who is in distress, okay? Also, they were like, so try Chipotle. They were very caring, whereas Target was like, and at Target, and so you just gonna deal with them Target people over there, wherever they charge the Teslas up there on the roof, San Francisco. It's where it was. PetSmart though. So PetSmart came after Chipotle. And this part, remember, the phone's dead, so I don't have it on anything. But I want to go back there. You want to go back to Huntington, where it's kidnapped, or Ohio and all that. PetSmart. So Chipotle were people. It was 16-year-olds, and they were just like, we don't have a charger today. They were just like, you know, like they were just like, they were 16, and their job is to do their job. In general, you know, it's not eradicating homelessness. Their job is to make burritos and quesadillas. So then I went to PetSmart. My only experience with like PetSmart, the pet industry, I can think of right now with homeless, they were like, they didn't have a charger, but they had the staff. This was like, I went from the ass bleaching store to Chipotle, which was just like, you know, thoughts about that. And then I went to PetSmart, and I was at the pet hotel check-in area with the pet hotel, like, and thoughts about the governor and all that kind of stuff was going on with my head. But they were like, the PetSmart hotel check-in guy, he was like, we don't have anybody that has an iPhone that brought a charger today, but we all got Androids, and we will look up a resource, like an AT&T store, of where you could go. That's what PetSmart concierge people could do on the, like, within the same hour as the Target people were just like, And I hope Target can go find, I would love for any corporation to just, let's see what the world can find out about Nate in general. But Target, for sure, you need to deal. I'm sure you've already raised the tape or whatever, but like you definitely have got some Karen issues over there. And I would like to know your thoughts on any of this. Please comment. I would like for this video to be a good one. This country needs to understand, like, we all have thoughts on these things. When I was at the ball, you know, I said there's people out there wouldn't agree with me, but I bet that they, over a lot of things, but I bet they can agree if Kroger had hired me, maybe we wouldn't be spending this much money for a 2-bedroom apartment from Raleigh countertops for as long as I live. You know, we gotta think about that. We gotta think about that when we think about doing, you know, government niceties for Kroger. It just what is the best thing? What makes sense? Because we'd be doing other things for like Greyhound or the hospital system. You know, seriously, we ought to take a look at that. The CEO of Kroger needs to be thinking about this. The CEO of 7-Eleven needs to be talking to the CEO of Kroger, because over at 7-Eleven in more convenience stores, you have a lot more like same kind of job skill set level as like Kroger. Kroger probably would never hire a homeless person. 7-Eleven had to, and they had to hire 3 of us. That's what you need to know. And Donna over there, still at 7-Eleven, she went to another convenience store. She's the best. She's the best. She worked from Brooklyn to LA, and she is the best. Alright. And Donna, at the beginning of the video, another Donna, talking to my friend, and I was just like, let's make this a video. So I did. I want to say, like, you know, this country needs to have more conversation on this whole video, the topics I'm talking about. I want to say, I feel like I have a good, like, PhD in homelessness across this country. Way more. See, Elon University, required reading in 2004. I was a class that started in 2005. Their required reading was Barbara Ehrenreich's Nickel and Dime. And she was a journalist, well-to-do, like, New Englander lady. And I did read her book before I went there. I didn't have to. And then I continued being Josh Eves or watching her on YouTube. I think that, like, the parallels of what they made required reading and how they treated me and other homeless people, it's just, you cannot. No. University is just kind of, no, God. That was bad. Joe Manchin, do you want to resolve Elon University? That's something you can work on. Get everybody resolved. I think I have a PhD in a lot of this stuff because I lived it, survived it, had those crisis situations. We got a lot of YouTube on the way of me being homeless at all times and something I survived that we ain't seen yet. I do want to say that other places that came to mind real fast before we get to resolving Todd, just Puttin making sure he's in some videos so the General Rescue Mission has the incentive to rescue itself. I really do think that, like, you should know I was homeless. The homeless shelters was in Huntington, West Virginia. I was at the Charleston, West Virginia one. I never stayed there. It was too dirty and too violent. The Huntington one is not far away, and it was like different scene. It was run by like AmeriCorps Vista workers, college students, young people, and then it has some like, custodial maintenance type people. And then Denver here, it is more of like one of the largest homeless shelter systems there is, and it's more of a I say like a summer camp with a little like faith-based influence, kind of like that feel. Yesterday, I went to have dinner there. I didn't have my food bank photo, ran out of food, so I went there, and it was great. It was really good. We played Whitney Houston, or they did. They played How Will I Know, and it's just a spiritual thing there. It was, in that moment, it was really good. San Francisco Homeless Shelter was run by, like, everybody who worked there, almost everybody, had, like, been to jail. So it was like, you have different... I said also the 48th Street Homeless Shelter in the Denver Rescue Commission, the permanent bed facility. That place feels like, you've seen The Walking Dead? When there's like a stable camp, and it's just like, shit hadn't hit the fan yet. That's kind of how 48th Street was. So I've been in a lot of different environments. I've seen how it's all handled differently. I would say one other place I want to talk about is Home Depot. And it breaks my heart. I'm not like fully abreast on like everything Home Depot. I can only speak to these 2 points. Home Depot, you just got to have, I'm going to make sure like Amazon's included on this too. Amazon, like you guys kind of bear with like Kroger with being so big. My brother works for Amazon. And like, so does his ex-girlfriend, who's been really supportive. She works for Whole Foods. Whole Foods is a general way, I would say, with me, has always been like, do they know listen to videos. I'm taking the pizza. I'm talking about it. There's another video where I'm taking cookies and milk. I'm just like, I need sugar and milk. So bad. I have nowhere to step, staying at the library at night. Outside. But, Home Depot. Man of dreams had a whole bunch of Home Depot boxes, and then he lost that storage unit. And he went to work for us. So that is just something in my head. And also Home Depot, what you gotta know is like, you have that, Home Depot, your job is to sell homeless stuff. Drills and stuff. I get that. Okay? But you got that really well-known YouTube video, which I think Home Depot was a part of approving. But you got that manager and that Betty Who song, Somebody Loves You and You're Away. They think about you every night. And it's that manager at Home Depot proposing to his love of his dream, man of his dreams. And he's got the whole family there. Okay? You got that whole experience, and you got all these gay people at risk for homelessness just because we're gay. 22% on that. If our parents got divorced, boom, you're at 60%. Home Depot, you've got to look at these risk factors, and you got to say, we got that video. We Home Depot, you can do what we can help, and all this kind of stuff. Home Depot, you're just going to have a leader mindset at the table with Nancy Pelosi. And I think like you should be, maybe you already do. I don't know. I'm just saying, I know those 2 things, and it just broke my heart a lot with companies like Dish. Okay, I work for Dish, and that's a company where you have to have a home and have service, right? Satellite Dish. I'll say Dish. You got huge operations in Texas, Ohio, you're all over. You got like 40,000 employees. Every single one of them could know somebody that's a veteran or homeless. And I just feel like for Dish, you got some resolving to do with the 7-year-old boy, because Chrissy White, manager of operations at Dish Bluefield, one of the first people to know Tom Costa was asleep with a 7-year-old boy, and like, it was just telling me I should just time to let go of Devin, and if I needed a hotel room from up, she could make it happen. And Dish, you just got some resolving to do. I will say that, like, I think the point I want to make here is that community in Bluefield, there's a call center, cared about me, but did not know how to go to corporate and say, we just promoted somebody out there and he's homeless in the winter. And he's a good guy and we care about him and we don't know what to do. And then that was going on, and then I went to West Virginia, and then it kicks up a notch with the Chrissy White going about my dad and all that crap. But like Dish, you ought to have, any company where they're promoting somebody like me, which is like any company, It is. So your accounting firms are just like whatever. All got to have this, we care about the people, the planet, recyclability, and corporate social responsibility. All these things need to be thought of. Very much. Very much. But it's in here. I said, call center in West Virginia. Carried out me. It was heartbreaking, Charlie Ergen. And I worked one floor below you. 366 days for me to get out of the poorest place in McDowell County. Poorest place in America. Where a total cost already made me homeless. I get out of there as fast as I can. And I come work one floor below you, Charlie Ergen. And then I'm homeless at Thanksgiving 2022. And there was plenty of people that cared about me and were just like, I'm committed. It sucks that Nathan's homeless and that job didn't work out because of COVID. And he can't work in other jobs. And I'm caring about Nathan. I hope he ain't, I'm gonna make sure he's got a meal for Thanksgiving. There was plenty of people out there that was caring about me at call center, Charlie Ergen. And it's just, whether Christy White gets resolved, she's gonna have to. But there's people out there that cared, Charlie Ergen, and did not know how to address their situation. That is what I'm talking about. That is something that is a mark on Dish, separate from the whole Christy White knew and she didn't do anything and she kept on being that way. There's people like me, Charlie Ergen, that is going to come through again, and it's better not happen again. It ended up at Elon University. There was another homeless person in the 2010s that they were real shitty to. So, Charlie, you really got to be a leader in the forefront of the table by saying, let's go resolve Elon University. I just keep going. Another one I think of, another group, like a local government officials, and relevant to my situation with my dad, Tom Acosta, and just where he is, it's a twofold crisis. The interstate kidnapping's over. I'm ready to forgive that guy, but the three worst nightmares, being homeless, my dad, sleeping single boy, they're more related to we got to resolve Tom Acosta, and the main one is Cecil Patterson, McDowell County, in West Virginia. And you might think, your small town USA, small local level elected official role and stuff that they may have in homelessness. Well, I'll tell you this, there's Cecil Patterson, who's kind of the main one I dealt with or have been dealing with, or he just said, we'll go into him later. He just said, I said, our darkest days upon us, Tom Acosta, who painted all this stuff and does his own work, he knows exactly who my dad is sleeping with his kid, and he said, I'm so sorry to hear about this, Nathan. He would contact the authorities. He's the highest local authority available. So, he also had no care about me being homeless, which he should have. McDowell County should have heart, but it doesn't. Not the authority on that. There's also, he's no longer a county commissioner, but he was for a long time. Gordon Lambert. Charlie Ergen, I hope you watch this video. Founder Dish. Gordon Lambert was literally a Denver Bronco. So, the county out there, it could have been doing more. If Gordon Lambert was in the NFL here in Denver, I don't care if it was the 60s, he ought to have been able to have known about this and reach. I don't think I had direct contact with him, but that's another, me on CNN dealing with McDowell County kind of thing. It's like Gordon Lambert was in the NFL. So yeah, I think the NFL I can't say I have any interaction with NFL, but I'm saying Gordon Lambert probably should have known I was homeless, and it's a failure of the community, if not him specifically, for failing to be well, I was in the NFL, and I know Denver, I've been there, let's make sure Nathan ain't homeless. That never happened. Correction, let's make sure Nathan ain't homeless again. I'm definitely going to continue this topic, and these kind of topics will definitely be part of the future. Still got to get my homeless story up and stuff. I want to say real fast, the other sector I thought was your storage places, right? Your self-storage places. My experience was very good. Public storage was who I had, and there's, the videos of me there my experience was, it was very much a case-by-case basis, and how you're carrying yourself. If you, it was the, personal responsibility. How high are you fighting and climbing to get yourself out of homelessness? For me, it was experience when I went to go rent the place. The guy was like, I was using the homeless center address. It was my driver's license, and he was typing it in. He was like, "Where is this place?" I think he knew. I think he knew that I was homeless, and that, he was like, "There's like 600 people, not this address," But he was very nice. He was a younger guy. He wasn't as young as like your Chipotle people, but he was pretty young. And then it was a couple cleaning people that saw me in there. And it was just like, well, you can't be in here. And it was very polite and very good. I think the self-storage places are definitely at risk for, like, the crime and the filth and the drugs and, just a myriad of problems, people trying to live there. And I did not feel safe there. I mean, it was just like, it's the only place I could be. And I had that bed there. But I did not stay there. There was several nights I was not there. Like the library and other places that I just did not want to be there. To jeopardize losing storage places and all this furniture. I would definitely continue this topic. And I will say, I'm even willing to go talk about, like, fishermen. It's a fishing industry, like, with homelessness. Well, here's my situation. In 2014, I lived with a felon next door. Good old friend of mine. Good guy. Just had a rough life, and I think got resolved. But he before that, long way of some time between being a felon when I met him, or but in his past, he had been a fisherman, and he had a homeless story, and it was just like, we need to have, we need to have, like, people growing corn in Kansas or Illinois, talking to people like that and learning about ways to resolve homelessness. That's what I want to say. We'll continue this topic later with a whole bunch of other industries and things like that. But, yeah. Alright, that's been a very more wild, more wonderful video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Send this video to a friend. It was very long and a lot of topics discussed here. I will ask if anybody can help me with like $40 for renter's insurance. It's something I have been working on for several weeks, and I still need it. It would be highly appreciated. It's just one thing that I need to solidify my ability to stay here and feel very blessed to not be homeless anymore. This is a painting of me in 1991, and it's called Find I Am. It's about one's search to find eternal salvation. This painting was missing when I went back to West Virginia in 2023. My dad did try to sell it in 2018 up there in Chadds Ford at the Wyeth Gallery. Chadds Ford, Pennsylvania, in the Wyeth Gallery, Brandywine Valley is an area, just, I don't like those people. I think there's a lot of crack up there. I don't think Whitney Houston would agree. She doesn't need to be a part of that. She can't be anymore. But the Brandywine Valley and the Wyeth Gallery is, that upper echelon, kind of like with Senator Joe Manchin. That has my Uncle Mike's portrait. My relationship and closeness to power is really interesting because I'm homeless and so is Uncle Mike. And these people should have a role in resolving homelessness, but they just have been very awful. My dad tried to sell that painting in 2018 for $8,000, and that's why I say they're very cheap up there, and there's a lot of crack up there. Whitney Houston doesn't need to be a part of it. I hope this video has touched you, and we need to give a shout out to the employees at the Ass Bleaching store in San Francisco. They ought to be state treasurers, since my Uncle Mike was. Please check out the related links in the description for a lot more content relevant or just something I touched on in this video. And God bless.